my lens when it comes to the Jadas, the Aishas, when it came to these two different approaches of how a woman could share her truth more privately or more publicly is which one requires emotional intelligence. I don't care how understanding he is. I really don't care how much he feels about that. That's not our business. That's between you, him, and the people that you're working with in your personal lives. So if a man says some of the things that, if a man is outing and sharing all this information that we didn't ask for and is not favorable and is not flattering, my lens when you're doing this publicly of all the different ways of how you could do it and how you can address it, you choose to do it in this format, that man doesn't respect you. That man doesn't respect you. Because the number one thing for a man that's mindful of his wife's image, of his children's image, is not saying or putting himself in a position for there to be any question of whether or not they're being respected and there's all the scrutiny in their relationship. That's the difference. Now, again, people could say, oh, I just disagree, Jeff. She's allowed to say it. Fine. My lens is when you're the most ideal situation is not putting yourselves in the environment for you to be taken out of context to begin with, if it's not positive. I'll give you final words.
Oh, I don't fully disagree with you. I think that there's something there in what you said. However, I do know that certain people are a little bit more. Certain people, like for example, on my page, I don't just post like that because I have it's kind of like a couple. It's really my Instagram, but I kind of like post a lot of stuff about my girl too. And I post that like, yo, everything's not perfect. I know it might look perfect, but I posted everything's not perfect, and I might post, small examples of things that I'm willing to share that like we had to work through. And just for me personally, I think that even the reason that I come and I talk on these panels, I think that I'm helping people, and I think that my example, even taking me and like having kids by different women and like me using myself as an example, I think that's powerful. Or me sometimes using my relationship as an example, I think that's powerful. But everybody's in different positions. Some people it's not optimal for them to do that, and I think that what you're saying about, it's like abstinence. It's like nobody can say that abstinence is not the best form of protection when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
When it comes to a marriage or a relationship and in any type of scrutiny, of course, the best thing that you probably could do is not say anything, never be seen, none of that. I think I agree with you there. That's probably the best practice. But there are some people who are just willing to share a little bit. And I think, those people they should have a line. They should have their own line. But I agree with you.
Nah, man, I appreciate it. And I think men like me and you.
I'm sorry, y'all. I really got. I got to go.
Okay. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Men like me and you, I think, are trying to figure out how to walk that fine line of being vulnerable, being transparent, not presenting an image, right? Right. I think that there's definitely a space for people respecting and valuing authenticity. I'm of the camp of even when we do that, even when I do that, right? I just said last week that I lost my temper with my wife, and I'm not proud of it because I've prided myself for years now of getting so much better at being able to control my anger, But what I didn't do is go into details about what that looks like if she loses hers, right? Like, so even then, a lot of that is going to be rooted in like what I did, how I handled things, what I said, and trying to shield anything that she may have done or said that maybe wasn't as favorable. Obviously, people can feel differently about it. And like you said, man, it's true that there's definitely relationships where people are just more okay with it and more open. My lens is always going to be protective with men and women, especially with the red flags we listed. I want us to get in the habit of getting with people who know how to do that and know who to do it with versus having to deal with it after the fact because they just keep talking when we at social events and they just say the wrong thing over and over and over, right? But no, man, I genuinely appreciate it, man. My thought processes, and we definitely got to do this again, and definitely when I get on more panels and stuff, if you're on, I could see us having like full on thing. We'll ignore everybody else, right? My lens when it comes to the Jadas, the Aishas,
Oh God, you put the Jadas and Aishas in it because I'm not a Gabrielle Jada. I don't like them.
yeah. Listen, but they all like for us, they're all in that bucket, and I know we see it's totally different in terms of what specifically they're saying, right?
Yeah.
But in the end, they're sharing all this information that we didn't ask for, didn't need to know, and my lens when it came to these two different approaches of how a woman could share her truth more privately or more publicly is which one requires emotional intelligence. If it's just talking and just blabbing and sharing out what you think and how you feel, that doesn't actually require much emotional intelligence at all, other than the initial reflection of how you feel. The emotional intelligence piece is knowing when and who to share those things with. So that's to me like the missing link, man. But listen, bro, I appreciate you. I love the pushback. I love the thoughtfulness of your responses. It's something that I think is necessary. And although we may end up on two different ends of the spectrum, obviously you're representing the people that's rocking with her, and I'm representing the people that's like, we should not be supporting this, whether men do it or women do it. But I think both sides, you and myself included, I can feel good in saying that I think we both articulated our viewpoints pretty well and defended our perspectives pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say I don't it's probably a bunch of people who agree with my position on this, who are probably radically the people who you are mentioning, that, you know, people without a line and, you know, just kind of selfish and just, you know, individual minded people. I just so happen to understand her perspective a little bit. However, me and those people probably disagree with a lot of things. Like when you brought up the thing about, you know, putting on a particular outfit, but you want everybody else. I tell women, you don't wear, when women say I wear makeup for myself, I'll be like, no, you don't. Then put it on when you go in the house and take it off when you leave. Right. I'll be on the same thing. So yeah, we just happen to agree on this one, but I promise you I'm objective in everything that I do.
Nah, man, I genuinely appreciate that, man. So I'm gonna bring on actually the other person. He left, so I'm good with that.